and welcome to Chamber Chat, a series in partnership between Winnipeg and the Monmouth Independence Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, in which our members are featured to help our community get to know them both professionally and personally. Joining me today is Rob Cokeley, who is the owner of Edgewise Electric. Thanks, Rob, for being here.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Fabulous.
All right, then. So, I know you were raised in Monmouth. You've lived here, I'm guessing, pretty much all your life. Why did you choose to start your business here? Why not take being an electrician and go elsewhere?
Well, I actually did take it elsewhere to begin with, and it's came back here. I grew up here, even entered Scraggly Beard contests as an infant. As a matter of fact, the same room we were doing the video in, I went to kindergarten. So there's just a lot of memories, and it's a familiar place. And you know, growing up, I did a few years of high school in another state, and coming back is just a sense of this is where I belong, this is home. It just feels right.
All right, so you are an electrician, and you do both commercial and residential work. Do you have a preference of what you enjoy the most between commercial and residential?
I actually I do. I prefer working on existing homes. People as part of the atmosphere again. Commercial, you can get out of state work. You can get a lot of kind of random other stuff. But when you're in the same town, you have the same things to talk about. You show up. It's not just a job. I find myself actually having conversations with the people I'm working with, or I see them at the grocery store, or you know, it's not as commercialized as I did a lot of work up in the Portland area. So.
And you got some photos that you submitted of you with your truck, your work van, throughout our community, as well as standing in front of the chamber.
Of course,
thank
I
you
had
for
to do
that.
You bet. Did you see me out there?
I did.
Who's the guy standing there?
So you've been around the Monmouth Independence area for most of your life again. And what would you say is a really unique feature about our community? You've done work in Portland. You've lived in another state. You said you did high school a couple years in another state. So what about our Monmouth Independence area? What makes us unique? What really stands out?
Well, there's quite a few things, and some of the things that are a big deal to me are more subtle, actually. You know, some of the older sidewalks. Before here, I got up early and was walking around the Monmouth Park, and you know, walking around the sidewalk, and you're like, how long has that been there? I remember as a kid thinking, wonder how long that's been there, thinking it had to have been forever. But a lot of the old buildings and things like that are still here. I mean, I've seen, you know, Marketplace come and go, Ben Franklin come and go. I've seen a lot of places come and go, but a lot of the buildings and structures are still there that I've always liked, and nothing beats the Independence Park. I mean, fireworks. I grew up out in the outskirts of Monmouth, up on a hill, and watched a fireworks show, and we could see Salem and Portland, and you know, we saw them all, at least 6 or 7 up there, and the Independence always beat everybody, and it's just, you know, they put a lot of things for being a small town. There's a lot of effort and pride in it. There's a lot of effort in the park. I mean, we have an airport.
You're right.
You know, things like that. We've got a lot of things that people put a lot of effort into that you don't see in small towns, but we've kept the small feel of it. There's a lot of the buildings. We aren't tearing down the old. We're just building up new along with the heritage with it.
Right. And my husband and I, we moved here from North Carolina, and we like that small town charm as well. With the Monmouth Independence community, if you look at just this area, there's a lot of uniqueness. Like you said, the old buildings, you have really cool architecture, things of that nature. You have the amazing community events that are put on, and you have the really small town charm as well. You know, it's sort of a very safe place, and it's very charming.
That is so true. Before the interview, I was trying to think about what are some of the things that I remember about here, and you bring up safe. Well, you know, I've done a lot of work in Portland and even Salem, and there's times that you get in the car and you lock it. Even if you're just not going anywhere, you lock the door. But I remember growing up, and it was, hey, check in about an hour. You know, parents just let us take off. I was out in the woods area, so we were told, you know, come in before it gets dark. But just that feeling of, you know, it's safe. It's almost like you feel like the neighbors are watching too. You're all part of the same community, which you don't get in some of the bigger areas. So it's really nice. I mean, it all boils down to it feels like home.
Right.
I've been away, come back, and this is the place that I can just go and sit on any of the street corners. Not that I do that, but you know, I can just be standing anywhere, and it feels like, yeah, I belong here.
So what would you say, this is home, obviously, and you've chosen to have your electrician business here. What has been one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
You know, it sounds almost backwards, but my greatest accomplishment is not thinking I've had the greatest accomplishment. It's always something new, and I remember telling myself when I started that it doesn't matter how much I learn. There's always going to be someone who knows more than me. There's always going to be something else to learn. My greatest accomplishment is actually slowing down. To be honest with you, I've been in the production end of things where there's not as much customer interaction. It's go as much as you can get done, as fast as you can get done, effective and efficient. But it took the personable approach to it out of it, and the idea of starting a business and coming back here where it was home, it just felt right. It brought a whole new sense to business. Business was not a thing you do to make money. Business was now part of my life. This was my life.
So do you have would that also tie into one of your greatest personal accomplishments, just the ability to slow down and really appreciate more of what you have and to do a better job at what you're doing? Would that be a personal accomplishment as well?
Definitely one of them. Definitely one of them. With learning to let go of the fear of starting a business, obviously, is a little bit nerve-wracking. But just trusting that the community you're in is the right fit for you, and that you're the right fit for the community. It's kind of the both sides. So it was. I think my greatest personal accomplishment is trusting that it's going to work out.
Well, you've had two of the more unique answers that I've been given when I've asked those questions previously, the greatest professional and personal accomplishments. So thank you for that.
Different. We can say that at least.
Now tell me about, as far as your business, why be an electrician? What was it that drew you to that field?
Well, I've been in construction for, a few decades.
1 or 2 years.
and I was more on the labor side of things, and I wanted something that challenged my mind. I find myself, if I don't have something to do, million different thoughts, and electrical was something that you really got to pay attention to. There's a safety factor, obviously, but it was just a challenge, and that's why I like working on existing homes. Believe it or not, I kind of like the fact that multiple people have probably worked on the home and may or may not have done it right, and so I just like a challenge, and I always have, and so that's kind of what drew me into the trade. As much as I thought I was going to be an indoor type of business person, most people I know would say that I would go nuts if I had to stay in the same spot for too long. So it probably worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
All right. Now, you are also recently one of our newest chamber members, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
As a new member, you're coming in, you chose to join the chamber for certain reasons. You've been a member for maybe a month at this point. What do you think are some of the... Yeah, it's 4 to 6 weeks, yeah, maybe 6 weeks. So what would you say would be one of the greatest benefits that you're looking forward to using it through your membership?
Well, not being a member for as long as others may have, I may not know the greatest things. I know what it is for me. I never actually joined the Chamber of Commerce as just a business move. Really what it was is I belong to this community now. I'm not just here. I really look back and I think of growing up and all the thoughts of, oh, I'm going to be gone, I'm going to move somewhere else, and all these things, and coming back and going, well, and now I'm doing things like starting to become part of the chamber and actually have some input, and it's more of a sense of pride. It's for me, the chamber, I've gotten work already in just this,
6
I
weeks.
didn't expect it. That's not why I joined, but I'm getting work for it. But the biggest thing is just a sense of I'm part of this. I'm actually contributing back.
We like to
more involved.
For many people who join the chamber, they see it as an investment in the community. By supporting the chamber, you're supporting the community and you're investing in the community and that strength of businesses and everything that the chamber helps to provide. So you're taking pride in your community, and we appreciate that. So the last question I'll ask you very quickly, and this is my favorite. What is a skill, hobby, or interest that you have that might surprise people?
I really love martial arts.
Okay.
I always have. It just have been out of it for a while, but busy with business, and I've been taking some things. But Dad grew up with it. Me and my siblings were always around it, and just it taught a lot of patience and humility, believe it or not.
All right, so martial arts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rob, our time is up, so I really appreciate you joining me for Chamber Chat and hanging out for a few minutes and helping people get to know you a little bit better.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. Hi, and welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Sharon Whittemore, who is a senior loan officer with Eagle Home Mortgage. Thank you, Sharon, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we were chatting a little bit before, and you said that you moved out to the Monmouth Independence area in 1999 from Salem. So you've been here for a while, and this is home now for you.
Yes, absolutely. We love it.
So why have your business here, or why work for Eagle Home Mortgage here in the Monmouth Independence area?
Well, when we were going to downsize our office to 2 smaller offices, I asked if we could have one out here, and the boss said absolutely, and that's how we ended up having one out here. It's nice to be local and a hop, skip, and a jump from home, and the kids at school, so.
So your office is brand new. Your location here, well, you're in Independence in Central Plaza.
Yes.
And it's a new location. You're
yes.
open of maybe 3 weeks now, a
yeah,
month?
1st of March.
Right. So, and also a new member to the chamber. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Now, with your new office, you have an open house coming up. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I do. Our open house is May 7th from 4:30 to 6:30. It'll be a fun event. Light hors d'oeuvres and drinks will be served.
Well, there you go. And we'll do a little ribbon cutting for you. So
yes.
We'll have the mayor there and some others. And so we're filming this now at the beginning of April. So in another month, May 7th, you'll be your
coming right up.
Yeah, I'll be here before
It'll
you know
fly.
it. So tell me, now that you've lived in the Monmouth Independence area for a number of years, what would you say is a unique feature about our community?
What we love is the small hometown feeling that, if all of a sudden you can't pick your kid up from school, you can call your friend and they can quickly get a note and they'll ride home with your friend without worrying about how they're getting home or all that. And we also love the 4th of July parade. It's one of our fun things we always do as a family and enjoy sitting in the same place every year, year in and year out.
My husband was here for a few months before I moved out because I was trying to sell our house back in Charlotte and whatnot, and he calls me up one day. He's like, "There's these chairs on the side of the road, and people are marking things off. And what's going on?" I said, "I don't know, dear. You're 3,000 miles away." And that was the people marking their spots for the parade. So then he puts that together, and sure enough, I move out, and the next year it's July 4th, and drive down the road, and sure enough, there's all the different lawn chairs and whatnot.
Yeah,
in rows. Like, wow, look at that.
It's so much fun to watch that happen. They start putting up about the 3rd of July.
Right. And no one steals it. And that's what surprised me. It's like people have their chairs there overnight, unattended, and they're still there the next morning.
Exactly.
I was like, they're not stolen.
No. So. The other fun part is the fireman's breakfast. We go to that every morning before we go to the parade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's just a full day of outing for you.
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Yep.
Now, what would you say so far has been one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
I would say one of my greatest professional accomplishments was actually getting the office out here. It's been a dream of mine for a long time to work in the community that I live in, and just to be able to earn more relationships right where I work and live.
So that definitely, like you said, it's easy for you. You got the home, the business, everything's right here.
Yes.
No long commutes or anything. You get to establish the relationship stronger and
Exactly. It's nice. You can just pop down at the realtor's office. It's, 2-minute drive and you're there.
Right.
So that's really nice.
I have a friend here who references, instead of rush hour traffic, how we have rush minute traffic.
Yeah. There is that time.
There is that time where you have to wait for those extra cars to go before you can turn.
You can tell when school's getting out,
right.
or going, or it's time for school to start.
This is true. What would you say has been one of your greatest personal accomplishments?
I would say my personal accomplishments would be my husband and I raising our 3 kids. They've turned out to be great kids, and they're involved, and I would say that would be it.
So how old are they, your children?
I have a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 17-year-old.
Wow, so they are definitely entering that adulthood, and you
Yes.
can tell what you've done at this point.
Yes, you can. Yes, one's actually getting married in June. So
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Very
That's
exciting.
a whole other fun topic.
Planning a wedding? Wow.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Elope? No, I'm joking.
Sometimes I wonder.
So now, when you talk about having your location here for Eagle Home Mortgage and being able, the convenience and the established relationships and building that, you very quickly joined the chamber. I mean, you had joined the chamber before your office was officially opened. So as a new chamber member, what are you looking forward as far as the benefits and your membership and really getting
Well,
out
I'm
of it?
looking to deepen those relationships with the members of chamber and getting more involved. I've been to a few events, but I'm looking forward to going to them on a more regular basis.
Okay, then the networking and just, again, those established relationships.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
So you've been in the mortgage industry now for a while. What would you say has been one of your greatest challenges in this industry?
I would say the greatest challenge is when the mortgage meltdown happened here 7-8 years ago. The people that were doing it just to make a lot of money got out of it because obviously times were tougher then. The people that really knew what they were doing and really had a heart and soul for it stuck through it. And I would say that's probably the biggest challenge.
I would say it was a huge challenge.
It was.
The recession was certainly impactful in a lot of ways for a lot of people. And
Absolutely.
mortgage industry definitely took a hit as well.
Yes, it did.
And now things have turned, so, and you're seeing that change now with the economy.
Absolutely. And it's not tougher to get a loan, but we're going to get documentation. So you're going to give us something, the underwriter's going to look at it. That might open another question for them. And so it's a new way of doing mortgage. It's not different, but we're going to definitely document everything much better than what it might have been done in the past.
And do you see that as a better outcome in the long run?
I do, yes, because I think that will help reduce foreclosures and short sales and things like that. And hopefully we'll never go through what we did 7-8 years ago.
Agreed. Hopefully we don't do that again.
Exactly.
Now, when you look at Polk County, recently our community, Polk County, went through a process with Travel Oregon, a rural tourism studio, in which you look at what makes our area a unique destination spot for people. How can we get people to come see the glory, the beauty, the whatnot of Polk County? As someone who has moved to Polk County yourself, lived here, established this as home, what would you say are some of the draws to Polk County, not just Monmouth Independence, but to our county as a whole? Well,
I think that the country roads with the beautiful scenery, the wineries, watching the flowers and the grapes grow and things like that. And it's just, I think also just the hometown feel.
Now, I would agree that from those workshops in which people were participating, and some of the standard responses would be just, like you said, the hometown feel, the wineries, of course, cycling opportunities, just how beautiful Polk County is.
Yes.
And so you moved here from Salem. Obviously, I came from North Carolina, but there's that charm of Polk County.
Yes, absolutely. It's nice to be driving down the road and just seeing the fields of green grass or flowers or whatever, depending where you're driving. But it's just the rolling hills are great.
So this is my favorite question that I get asked everyone. And watch out now. What would you say is a hobby, an interest, or a skill that you have that would surprise people?
Oh my gosh, that would surprise people? I don't know that it would surprise people. I love to scrapbook. I like to read, believe it or not. That might surprise people because reading, and I like to read a book. I don't want to do it on a tablet. I like to read an actual book. And I just love to volunteer and be involved at school with the kids and athletics and things like that.
So scrapbooking, you do the paper cutouts and all?
Yes, I don't do I do some computer stuff, but mostly it's the cutting of the paper and putting it on the page, yeah.
Yeah, I started a scrapbook like that one time. It did not last very long.
Well, I didn't say I wasn't behind, but that's what I do love to do.
And do you have a favorite author you like to read? Do you have a genre?
No, just I like love stories.
Okay.
I don't like the blood and guts or anything like that, or the murders. I like the love stories.
And then do you have a favorite volunteer opportunity that you've done? Something that really stands
My
out?
most favorite. Man, there's been so many, and they're kind of all my favorite. I did CYS for many years. I help with athletics at school, like taking tickets at the football games, preparing the meals. There's a week of football where each class, seniors through freshmen, there's 1 week where each night each class will prepare a meal. So that's kind of fun. That's probably one of my most favorite because the kids are always so nice and they are so appreciative of anything we feed them.
Right. All right. Well, Sharon, it's been great having you here.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks for being part of Chamber Chat.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Neal Olson, Deputy Chief of the Polk County Fire District No. 1 here in Monmouth Independence. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So now, why Monmouth Independence? Why choose to work at this fire station in this community?
I chose this location simply because the community is absolutely wonderful. I kind of happened along it years ago when I was doing my paramedic internship. I had the opportunity to come here and do my work here, and then while I was doing that, we fell in love with the community. My wife was at Western Oregon University, and we really just loved the community, the environment, the family atmosphere here, and this is where we stayed.
So how long have you been here now?
I've been here for 18 years.
Okay, so it's definitely home.
Yes, yes. It's home. My youngest son doesn't know anywhere else. We've lived in the same house since he was born, and my older son doesn't remember anything before that. So this is our place.
All right. So what would you say when you look at Monmouth Independence, when you look at our community, what is one of the outstanding features? What's really something that makes us unique?
I think it's the family feel. There's so much family in the environment here, and whether it's in the community as a whole, in sports, the high school, the fire service, law enforcement, everybody works so well together, and everybody really embraces each other, and that's just been really exciting, and I think that's the strongest point we have in our community.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah. I've done several of these chamber chats at this point, and the closeness of the community is often one of the first things people reference as a unique charm of the community. The family appeal, just that closeness. So I think, yeah, you're right there. Yeah. What would be so far one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
My professional accomplishments, I was thinking about that, and really for me as a training officer, and that's my primary job for the last 10 years, has been training firefighters and engineers and officers in their accomplishments. We've recently had a couple of folks that have been hired in other agencies, and they, when they succeed, I feel like I've succeeded, and it's just really great for me to be able to feel that accomplishment for them.
So what's the training like? So you've been overseeing the training for about 10 years. What all does that involve?
Being that we're primarily a volunteer organization, we'll have community members come in with maybe no training at all, and we put them through an entire academy, Firefighter 1 level, and that goes from the very beginning of not knowing anything, teaching them about hoses, ladders, fire attack, and then after they complete that, we can move them into driving and then officer development, and we also have paramedics and EMTs, and so we're also working on training them up in those areas and those levels. And so coordinating that's just been quite an adventure for the last 10 years.
Is there a time frame, like how long all this takes?
It really goes over their entire career. The Firefighter 1 Academy is generally 4 to 6 months. Working people through there. There's about 140 hours of training, and that depends on the availability of our recruits so that they can come in, and we base our training schedules on their availability, because they have, as volunteers and community members, they have families and jobs and kids and things, and we can't, it's a balance of taking too much time, but yet being able to get them finished and ready to do their ready for response.
Okay, now that's your professional side. What about personally? What's been one of your greatest personal accomplishments?
My personal accomplishments, a year ago, my little brother came to me and asked me if I would help him train for a marathon. It was his goal to run a marathon, and I said, absolutely, I'll help you, and I'll do whatever it is that you need me to do. And I kind of ended up then realizing that I was his training partner, and being his training partner got me into running the Eugene Marathon with him. And running that marathon with my brother was really a huge accomplishment for me.
So it's your first marathon, and will it be your last marathon?
I don't know if it's going to be my last or not. I was really excited about that. The running community is really wonderful, and those races are just pretty exciting, and I might do another one. Halves, I'll do another half for sure, but the marathon, the full 26.2, that might be, that's a long ways.
I have a sister who has become quite the avid runner in recent years, and she had a goal of doing a marathon, and she did several half marathons, and she, a couple years ago, did her first marathon, and she lives down in the San Diego area. And so she was doing a local one there, and they're hills, and so she's talked about having to do the training because of all the different, hills and whatnot, and it just, I commend her, and congratulations to you and to your brother. Like, wow, that's a long way. 26.2 miles is a long way.
It is a long, long ways, yes.
So the half marathon sounds a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So did you find that to be a bonding experience, with you and your brother, to go through the training and just everything that it takes to run a marathon?
Yeah, it really was, and it was interesting because we weren't able to actually ever run together until we ran the race. We did all of our training via phone and an app that we had for our phones, and we were able to track each other and encourage each other because he lives in Staten and we live here, so we were actually separated by 26 miles.
Oh, that's ironic.
Yeah, it really is.
So well, there you go. So as a personal accomplishment, running a marathon, I definitely think fits as one of your greatest personal accomplishments.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that really draws you to Polk County as a whole? Not just Monmouth Independence, but when we talk about our county as a whole, what would you say is something that really draws that?
I really like just kind of the county's approach to life. Things just seem to be a little bit calmer, a little bit smoother. We just seem to allow things to kind of take place. It's pretty peaceful, and I love, even in training for the marathon, I got to run and do different things in different areas of the county and really break up. It's really diverse, and everybody throughout the county is really, really welcoming and really nice. It's a nice place to live.
It really is, which almost sounds trite sometimes. Oh, it's a nice place, but it really is.
Yeah, it's really just nice.
Exactly. Now, why fire? Why work for a fire department? What got you into that?
I kind of stumbled upon it after a couple years in college. I had been a general ed or a PE major, and had spent some time in the Marine Corps Reserve. I spent almost 8 years in the Marine Corps Reserve, and was actually just flipping through a college catalog one day and came across it, and my friend, she was like, yeah, that would be great. That's a great job for you. And I kind of thought it was kid stuff initially, and then the more I got to thinking about it, I was like, well, maybe that would be kind of exciting. And I have an uncle that was in the fire service for 30 years, and so I went down to our local fire department and I applied for a volunteer position, and from the first class that we had, the first moment that I was in there, I felt great there in that little fire station on the McKenzie River, and was able to start the training there, and that's been 21 years ago. So I don't know, it's just who I was. I just had to find it first.
So did you ever wonder what made you grab that catalog to be flipping through to see fire department? Why did you pick that document that day? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I never really did. I guess it was sitting on the counter, and it was Christmas break, and it was just something fun to do, and I guess I didn't really like where I was going. I didn't have a real sense of direction, and so just from the time that I found that, it was really a renewed, I guess kind of an enlightenment time. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So my favorite question that I get to ask everyone who does Chamber Chat is, what is a hobby, a skill, or an interest you have that might surprise people? The answers are really interesting, I find. So.
Yeah, well, there's two, and one of them's not so, may not be a surprise to a lot of people that know me, but I really enjoy photography and sports photography.
Right.
I like to take photos of our football team and our wrestling teams, primarily because those are the sports that my boys play, and so I'm there. So I just like to take photos of the athletes and their accomplishments and put that on there. There's a lot of kids that don't have the resource, they don't have the ability or sometimes the family support for their parents to come in and be able to take pictures, and so it's nice to give them to them. But the other one that I think that is probably would be the biggest surprise is that I really like detailing cars. I like to take a car that's really just filthy dirty and clean and get it to looking really nice. I worked for a while as an auto detailer, and it's just something that I can do and focus on by myself because so much of my career is spent engaging it with other people, and this is just some time for me to just focus and get to work on a job and see it come to fruition. So yeah.
All right. Well, the photography is very nice. That's well done you for that. Detailing cars, like, see in my car. No,
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Neal, for joining me. I really appreciate you being part of Chamber Chat.
You're
hanging out
welcome
today.
Thank you.